tuned in live. And we are all tuned in and live. Fantastic. Alright. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, while I load a bunch of hash onto this blunt I'm about to smoke so we can dive into the news of the week. It's been a while since we did news coverage. Been recently sticking more towards less controversial issues. Doing, cannabis reviews and talking about life and shit on the gaming streams. Haven't really been addressing any current events or news or any of that kind of stuff recently, because I don't want to get fired. Turns out having an opinion in America in 2020 can be fiscally dangerous. So I've, abstained from really speaking any of my mind on the internet, but I have recently put in my 2 weeks notice, looking at a different path for my life and my career. Not that I don't love the cannabis industry, I do. And on the good days, when I'm not finding myself somewhat absolutely despising my customer base, I really enjoy bud tending. But it's time to move on to something else, something different. This is an audio podcasting, and so, I'm going to go traveling. That's the plan right now. Go travel around, check the world out. I got an RV. The RV is pretty dope. Dopamundo, as I don't think anyone says, but they could. They could say that. But they don't. They don't. They don't say that, but they could. They could say it. Anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna go adventuring. That's the plan. And as a professional adventurer, I am not beholden to anyone's code of conduct standards. I can say whatever the fuck I want on the internet now. Kind of a thing. Now, thankfully, I'm not a bigot or a racist or, a Nazi. I don't believe in any kind of supremacy. White supremacy, black supremacy, green supremacy. I think if you have fucking, mammal biology and DNA, you're pretty much my equal, as far as value of life and things like that. Supremacy, lizards and fish and shit, anything that lays eggs, you're fucking, I don't know, I call me a bastard, you're welcome to, but I think if you lay eggs, you're fair game for eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just my opinion, man. But, I don't believe in any supremacy of any kind. I think, in fact, heritage pride is fucking stupid. I think pride is something you should have when you accomplish something, Like, I'm proud of this blunt covered in wax that I rolled, and then had to dab the fucking wax on with this tiny little cell phone screwdriver. I'm proud of that because I fucking earned it. I worked for it. I'm not proud of my white skin. My parents happened to be white and happened to fuck in the mid-'80s. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't have anything to do with that. They can be proud of me. You know what I mean? They could be proud of my white skin, I guess. That'd be fucking stupid too, because it's, in all probability, if you have two white parents that you have a white baby. Again, there's really not a lot to be proud of here. And I think that shit is stupid. So it's not too much controversy that I got to worry about as far as the future, but holding opinions, in this country right now is dangerous. You could lose your job for having the wrong opinion. That's real. That's real shit. So I've had to kind of take a back burner from things like reading the news. He's having an opinion on Florida not wanting to back off reopening plans despite record coronavirus cases. Can get you into some hot water. It can. God, I don't like that hat either. I'm really not liking this right now, if I'm being honest. It's because, I fucking haven't had a haircut in months, and it just looks terrible right now. I'm not super vain, but a little. Call me a person. I am one. So now I'm going on the road. I'm going to adventure, taking my RV out, and I can have opinions again. It's basically what we're coming back full circle to here. So there's that. Let's smoke this Leroy TK. Which is not great, but the oil wrapped around it is fantastic. Way to go, trendy. Trendy. If I'm being honest, I think it's a stupid name for a weed company, but they do all right on the weed. You know what I mean? They do all right on the weed. So there's that. Chroma key. Let's bring that similarity down slightly. There we go. Now my hat's not fading off into fucking oblivion. Excellent. Perfect. So let's see what we got to start with here in the world of opinions that I now get to have again. I'm so excited. It's over here now. Florida won't back off reopening plans despite record coronavirus cases. Record spike in new cases reported in 6 states as reopening accelerates. I love how they let the masses huddle together in every American city to protest the violence of police, which they should be, don't get me wrong. We should all be protesting against the police murdering people. That shit is fucking terrible, and it's just wrong. The cops should not be allowed to kill with impunity, so we should be fucking protesting. But let's not sit here and pretend that states reopening is what's causing the spread of coronavirus to accelerate when there was 10,000 people walking down Hollywood Boulevard a week ago. Barely any of them wearing masks. Masks, whether or not they work, I'm just saying, if we're going to promote social distancing, let's promote social distancing. Let's not bullshit people just for the sake of politics. Florida's going to reopen. Florida barely closed. And, that's just Florida's fucking choice, I guess. As a Floridian, you got to decide for yourself whether or not you're going to go out into the world or not. You got to make that choice. I don't know, you know what I mean? Anyway, there's that. Good for those people, I guess, or bummer. I don't know. I don't live in Florida. You know what I mean? The people that I know that live in Florida are, not sweating it. They're wearing their mask when they go out, I'm sure. When I first read this headline this morning, trying to block a tell-all by John Bolton of his White House days with Trump, the first headline I read did not have John, and my fucking stoner brain was immediately like, what the fuck did Michael Bolton do to Trump now? But this makes way more sense. This makes way more sense. I gotta remember, it's over here. It's over here also. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm reading the news over here, and y'all are reading the news over here. Anyway. Trump is saying everything he says is classified. Fucking, I don't know. The man is nuts. The shit that he says is so, to me, it's so funny. It's like, it's Dr. Evil level shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, it's just funny. It's just funny. It truly is funny. I know you're all out there like, it's the end of the world, Rod. It's not. It's just funny. Anyway, I hope Bolton gets to fucking publish his book. You know, I hope he gets his book out there and we all get to read it and laugh at the spectacle that is the Mad TV episode of American politics. Shit is ludicrous. Senate Judiciary holds hearing on police use of force. Wow. That's like one of those about fucking time situations. The Republican-led Senate Judiciary Committee on Tuesday held its first hearings on policing since the May 25th death of George Floyd. Sorry, I can't read when I'm smoking pot, apparently. A black man who was killed in custody by Minneapolis police. No, this is the problem. This is why the problem's not being solved. And NPR is just as much guilty about it as anybody else. He was a man who happened to be black. The important part here is the police murdered a man. Doesn't matter what color he was. That's not relevant. He's a human being who was killed by the people you and I pay to protect us. Who cares if he was black or white or Mexican, sane, retarded? Who gives a fuck? He was a human being. And he was fucking murdered by the people we pay to protect us. That's what this should say. A man who was killed by the people who were paid to protect him. Triggering a wave of protests and international outcry for reform in the U.S. for police policy. Now the last part here, hopefully we'll see come into fruition. Hopefully all of this will be worth it. I think it's going to divide the country and put us into a state of fucking civil war. But I'm a pessimist by nature. People tell me that all the time. They say, Rod, you're too pessimistic. And I'm like, nah, dog, I'm just realistic. I'm just seeing it. I'm seeing it for what it is, y'all. You know? Anyway, the hearing included two panels, one on policing in the black community and another, according to Chairman Lindsey Graham, folks who can tell us about the other side of the story and ways to go forward. What the fuck does that even mean? My frustration here is, once again, all of this is designed to generate division. None of this is designed to bring us closer together in unity to the fight against violent police. So let me make a fucking call out right now to anybody watching my channel who leans on the all lives matter side of things. If you're on an all lives matter side of things, it is up to you at this point to be the bigger person. Put your fucking sign down, pick up a Black Lives Matter sign, and get out there in the streets and tote it around with the rest of them. We can fucking squabble and argue over who's got it worse when it comes to being poor in America later. We can do that later. You know what I'm saying? Because right now, the problem isn't who's got it worse in the Olympics of oppression. The problem is the cops are killing people with impunity. They out here judge dredging the fuck out of things. Judge Dredden, excuse me. I got gold mining on the brain. That's part of the adventure coming up. They got Judge Dredden on the brain when they should have fucking keeping the streets safe on the brain. And that's the problem. So, if what it takes It's putting down your Confederate flag, picking up a Black Lives Matter fucking sign. Do it. I mean, at this point, I don't know what else to do. We gotta be the bigger men and women. Whatever. You know what I mean? The saying is be the bigger man. Fuck you, political correct assholes. I don't have to fucking censor my speech for that shit. That's dumb. I will refuse to do that again. Be the bigger man. Why? Because that's the age-old adage. And if you're not smart enough to figure out that that includes women also, you're dumb. Don't care. You're dumb. If you have the time and energy during what is looking like the fucking foundation for a potential worldwide revolution of the people, to sit here and nitpick and squabble somebody's sentences like a fucking 9th grade English teacher with nothing better to do because there's no good fucking connection to porn now that they've actually blocked that off from the school's network. We had a computers teacher in high school. Poor old bastard. Married, kids. Fucking somebody caught him looking up gay porn on the school's computer in the back while the rest of us were doing our thing. Learning about computers, doing our thing. Now, he was never like, back there stroking it or nothing, but like, I'm just saying, men are fucking weird and horny and bored, and sometimes we look at porn even when we're not jacking off. You know what I'm saying? And I'd bet 9 out of 10 times he was not the only teacher doing that. You know what I mean? He's just the one who got caught, and it was only a big deal because they were gay porn. Like the gym teacher and the math teacher. Fucking math teacher got married to one of his fucking high school students. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was fucking in high school. No big deal. He's still teaching. Anyway, I digress. Somehow we went from race relations to my math teacher fucking his high school student. Oh yeah, if you're nitpicking like a bored high school fucking English teacher. If you're nitpicking my sentences like a bored high school English teacher who can't access porn since the new restrictions on the network, you're not helping with the fight. You're not helping with the revolution. Everybody wants to have a revolution, but nobody knows what the fuck to do with that. Look at this shit happening in Seattle. Got this autonomous zone that the members are saying isn't an autonomous zone on CNN, but then of course I'm seeing Twitter feeds, live Twitter feeds, motherfuckers being like, Chaz, 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 and it's just like, what the fuck is going on over there? And the fact that those people can't get a unified message out into the fucking ethers, well, it's proof that they're fucking, that there's no organization to this revolution. There's just a bunch of fucking people out there pissed off, breaking stuff, trying to prove a point. I watch these people at the autonomous zone or whatever, the occupied space or whatever the fuck they want to call it, a Christian preacher stand up, start preaching about Christ, and they fucking chokehold the motherfucker. The guy gets behind him, puts a fucking chokehold on him, and drags him to the goddamn ground. Now, how fucking beautiful is that irony? You're out here protesting police fucking choking people to death, and then you're going to police your autonomous zone by choking people to death. For what? Preaching? Jesus Christ. You know? It's funny because it shouldn't be real, you know? Anyway, I'm glad to see the Senate is at least fucking addressing in some way that that the cops are out there killing motherfuckers. And this shit. I've learned over the years, but particularly recently, that every black man in America apparently feels threatened when they are stopped by the cops. Dog, we're all scared when we get stopped by the cops. That's the truth. Every time I ever get pulled over, I'm looking around my fucking car to make sure there's nothing that suggests I might have some weed in the car. I'm looking for make sure there's nothing that looks even remotely like a weapon. I got a camera fucking rolling. Cops will kill me just as fast as they'll kill anybody else. All it takes is the bad attitude, the wrong day, and a little resisting arrest. Just a little resisting arrest. That's all it takes, just a little bit. They can fucking shoot you. You can get away with it. Happens all the time. But we don't talk about it when it happens to white people, because it doesn't fucking matter when it happens to white people. That doesn't get on the news because it doesn't promote division. If they got on the news and talked about the white people that got killed mercilessly and unjustly by the police every day, we wouldn't have riots in the street. We'd have mass organized protests that actually were peaceful and worked. Now, I will say, having watched all of the protesting going on from the safety of my garage and my computer screen, from all sides, I got one window over here. Well, it's over here usually for you guys, but this window over here will usually be, like a live stream of the fucking actual protest from a helicopter in the sky. I'm always watching that mainstream helicopter feeds. They're all putting them on YouTube now. And then I'll be watching on Twitter people who are on the ground actually involved in the protests and the riots. And then I watch the feeds. What people are posting. What do they believe? What are they taking away from the reality? And I can say the majority of the protesters and protests are peaceful. And that is where the cops are. The cops are there. And the police, oftentimes controlling those crowds with brute force and violence. And it's fucking disgusting and despicable. But what's weird, and what nobody seems to be talking about, is why are the cops at these protests harassing the peaceful protesters, yet letting violent, crazy criminals loot neighborhoods, burn down businesses, and beat people in the streets? Why aren't the cops there? Why are the cops watching the peaceful, organized protest and surrounding people and funneling them in and fucking sequestering them and letting the actual violent criminals that they're supposedly there to protect us from run rampant? There's no more to that sentence. Just why that? Why that? Suspect arrested after man shot in Albuquerque protest. This is a wonderful headline that's been changing as more people call them out over Twitter, essentially, for botching these fucking headlines. First headlines I read said, militia member shoots protester over statue removal. That was the first headline I read. Not what happened. We're not going to play the video here because we're on YouTube and I'm not getting censored. And frankly, the whole thing is fucking disgusting and despicable and horrible, and it's just terrible. But the long story short here is, these guys are pulling down this statue. Over here, a fight ensues between a guy in a blue shirt and some lady in a white shirt. It is not clear who fucking throws the first blows, and I'm not defending either. If that lady struck that dude first, and he threw her on the ground and hit her in the fucking mouth, she had it coming. Now, if he just hauled off and fucking knocked that bitch down on the ground for no good reason, and 4 or 5 dudes in the crowd knocked him up a little bit and fucking sent him packing, he had that shit coming. But regardless, what happened is, when he got up off the ground with the lady, you see from one video, it's the whole scene, and you see the scuffle happen, and then you see the guy and the lady fucking go throwing over. And the video that they're showing right here doesn't show that. This shows that's much closer. This is much closer, and the camera turns over this way right after the scuffle happens. So all you see is this guy get up, and a swarm of people come at him, skateboard in the face. He fucking goes down, tumbles, gets up, starts leaving, and then you start hearing people scream something to the effect of, "We're gonna fucking kill you, I'm gonna fucking kill you." He starts going, the guy in the blue shirt starts running away, and then he's then pursued by this gang of fucking people who then attack him in the street. He tumbles, rolls, gets up, pulls his firearm, and shoots one of them. Fires 4 shots and puts, I think, 2 into a guy. Now, this whole thing is horrible. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it should have never came to that. It should have never fucking came to that. The fact that we can't hold peaceful protests in this country right now is... it's just fucking disappointing. That's what it is. It's disappointing. That's the right adjective. The point is that things escalated between a couple of people. A mob then retaliated against who they at least felt was the enemy for whatever reason. Again, I don't know whether or not that guy just fucking assaulted that lady for no good reason or not. Doesn't matter. Once you've neutralized the immediate threat, so like here's what I'm saying, okay? I'm in that group of people. I see this dude just haul off and cold cock this bitch for no good reason. I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna hit him. But as soon as he gets up and starts leaving, he's gone. He's gone. We follow him, maybe get his car and his license plate, maybe, you know. But you don't pursue with the intent of fucking citizen's arrest. There's a reason why police across the country will tell you do not pursue a violent attacker. You don't go after him. You don't try and jump him. You don't try and fucking, bring him to justice or citizens arrest him. You gather intelligence. You get as much information about the person as you can. Remember their ID. Write down notes about what they looked like, what car they got into. And then you give that to the authorities to fucking do their jobs with. That's how you handle that situation. And the reason you handle that situation that way is because if you then pursue that said person, one of 2 things can happen. Well, 3 things can happen. A, you get mob justice, right? Which is where a guy punches a lady in the face and then 10 guys beat him into the fucking hospital. That's not how civilization works. You know what I mean? Like, you can't go around telling the world that you're a civilized fucking human beings that don't need organized government to keep you civil, and then as soon as it's not around, you turn into fucking animals. You know what I mean? So you can't have mob justice and lynchings. Or what happens is somebody in that mob gets seriously injured because the violent attacker is more aggressive or is armed. Or you have C, which is both. The mob justice attempts a lynching. This guy gets severely hurt. And let me tell you, getting hit in the face with a fucking skateboard, that's a concussion. Just telling you. Based on the divots that I have in my shin bones from skateboarding as a child, the long-term permanent fucking damage on my knees and my ankles from smacking the shit out of them with a skateboard, I can tell you, taking a skateboard to the face, that's assault with a deadly weapon. So, the moment the threat is no longer a threat, the moment the fight is broken up, you cannot continue to pursue the attacker. Because now you have a violent mob essentially lynching a guy, and then you got that guy who is armed and prepared to defend himself, defends himself. And I'm sorry, after watching the video, no matter who started the fight, that guy was trying to leave. He was trying to get away. He thought his life was going to be ended by a fucking group, a violent group. He was hit in the face by a skateboard and had people screaming, "I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna kill you." And then he was tackled by 3 dudes. Now, I'm just telling you guys right now, if I got 3 dudes coming at me, I got a pocket knife, it's sharp as fuck, and I know how to use it. And it's coming out. I'm gonna hurt somebody. If somebody comes at me, I am not a pride fighter. If you attack me, you need to be prepared to lose your life. Because that's my bubble. I don't exert violence. You know what I mean? I don't go around pushing violence on other people. But I'm prepared to handle violence with the most extreme of measures because that's the only time I'm engaged in it. The only time I will engage in it. Somebody pops off to me, calls me a faggot or a motherfucker, tells me my mama's fat or any of that kind of shit. I don't respond with violence. I respond with my noggin. I break them down as a human being. Make them fucking cry. But if somebody comes at me with a fist, they better be prepared to have a broken arm, because I'm fucking true-blooded American, and massive retaliation is how we respond. So if I was in a group, and that group turned on me, and they were hitting me with skateboards, and I had a handgun, I would end somebody's life. And I'd be justified doing it. No matter the circumstances that brought us to that point. If I was being an asshole, or if some lady pushed me and I fucking hit her, I wouldn't. But I'm just saying, if that's what happened, you know, and a violent mob doesn't just break up the fight, but then turns to exact vengeance, you're gonna get shot. That's the reality of the thing, and it's why you don't respond to silly situations with violence, because you never know who you're participating in that violence with, and what their fucking levels are, what their extreme is, and where they're willing to go. Because where you think being a badass and really showing and taking charge is hitting some fucking stranger who's not seeing you coming with a skateboard, that stranger's idea of fucking extreme and massive retaliation is shooting you in the chest twice. That's fucking the reality of the situation. It's not cool. It's not right. And I'm not saying that this guy, who the protest, or the guy who shot, you know what I mean, the shooter, let's call him, right? While he was justified in defending himself, he didn't have any reason to be there. There was no good reason to be at that protest. He didn't need to put himself in that situation where he would need to use his gun. He didn't need to. He didn't need to be there. Let them fucking idiots pull down the statue. Who gives a shit? You don't need to go defend that statue with your life. It's a fucking hunk of metal and stone. Who gives a fuck? You know, he's an idiot too. I'm not saying he's righteous or right. I'm saying he had a right to defend himself from an angry, violent mob. Because he did. He absolutely did have a right to defend himself. But there was no good reason for him to have been there in the first place. Galleria Dallas evacuated after shooting. Awesome. I'm being facetious. I don't really think that's awesome. I think it's terrible. Call around 6:45. Okay, that's definitely not an hour ago, but whatever. Video on searching for suspects say this is not an active shooter situation. One person in rushed to the hospital late of Tuesday. No word on the victim's condition. The incident happened. An argument between two people in their late teens or early 20s escalated. Yeah, once again, a couple of dumb motherfuckers got into an argument. We were just talking about this. This is what I'm saying. One guy fucking escalated things with the other guy thinking he was a badass, and the next thing you know, one of them's got a gun and the other one's getting shot. This is why you don't need to be a badass. Most of the time, you just don't. It's just not necessary. You know? It's unnecessary. Because you could get shot. You know, so you just shouldn't do it. You know? You don't need to interject. You know? If you're not wearing a bulletproof vest and have a fucking costume on and shit, like, you're not a superhero. So why are you trying to play superhero? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm just teasing Harley when I say that. I will say this about the Albuquerque thing. If that guy was just violently assaulting that lady for no reason, then the crowd's initial response of pulling him off of her and throwing him into the fucking into the street and making a barrier between him and her is the right thing to do. Push him back, hold his arms, restrain him. But you don't just fucking beat him down, hit him with a fucking skateboard. Jesus Christ. What do these fucking people expect? Again, escalating violence. Not usually going to turn out well. And both parties are responsible. If you're not capable of avoiding it, you need to avoid those kinds of confrontations. Black Georgia sheriff. See, here's another one. Fox News fucking using the color of his skin to vindicate their opinion. Black Georgia sheriff says shooting of Rayshard Brooks by Atlanta police was completely justified. Not gonna lie, he was a fucking... That... I watched the video, y'all, of this one out in front of the Wendy's, and this Rayshard Brooks, that was a big fucking dude, and he was tossing deputies like fucking rag dolls. I'm surprised that they let it escalate as long as they did before they shot him. And again, I'm not suggesting that that's the right thing to do. It's just what they're trained to do, and it's just I'm observing it. You know, I'm just observing it. I don't know why I put such an emphasis on obs, but I'm just observing it. You know, and as an observer, you know, I'm surprised that they let that guy fucking respond as violently for as long as they did. So I'm just saying, that's, you know, I'm not surprised. Again, it's not right. I'm not okay with it. Just surprised they let him go as long as they did. On to some happy news. Science reveals the cannabis industry's greatest lie. You're buying weed wrong. So is everyone else. Does CBD treat anxiety symptoms better than traditional cannabis? Over long-term use? No, still not better than traditional cannabis. But yes, it does help treat anxiety. Let's see what they say, though. Who is this? I cover cannabis capitalism, legalizations, winners, losers, and scammers and suckers. Okay, so he's not actually a cannabis expert. He's just a douchebag. But let's keep reading. There's more to THC, solid proof, look no further than CBD, boom, blah, blah, blah. Super potent cannabis flower with THC percent 25 and up, dominate dispensary shelves. Will sell out very quickly, lower percentage gathers dust. Cannabis tests more than 25%. Dispensaries can justify charging $75 more for it. Store-bought eighth, because it's very good. Chance people will pay it. Yep, that's true. Problem is that it's all wrong. All of it. Maybe. THC shopping is almost as bad as dumb as buying wine based on how cool the label looks. That's true. Not only does THC content have nothing to do, no, that's not true, but it does have less to do than what people credit it. As research conducted University of Colorado JAMA Psychiatry Unit found, THC content is also a poor indicator of potency. Okay, this... Who the fuck are you guys? What are you talking about? Experience of 121 cannabis users. This is the fundamental problem with science today. Take 121 samples and say, we figured it out. We asked 121 people. That's a huge sample, by the way. Fuck. I can't even continue reading the fucking thing. Oh, they took half participants of cannabis concentrate users, and the other half preferred flower. Cannabis at varying strength. Users tried cannabis flower at 16 or 24%. Extract received oil either 70 or 99%. Researchers checked study participants' blood and monitored their mood, cognitive function, and intoxication levels before, immediately, and after 1 hour of use. As the researchers expected, the concentrate users had a very high levels of THC in their body after use, but they weren't more high. So they're just going to disregard... They're going to completely disregard tolerance in this study entirely? In fact, every participant's self-reported highness was about the same, as were their measures of balance and cognitive impairment, which is not a valid way of measuring. Who in the fuck is studying weed? What is going on here? People in the high concentration groups were much less compromised than we thought they would be because of fucking tolerance, you dipshits. Please tell me there's a comment section where somebody has already fucking reamed this asshole about this. No, they didn't. They didn't. They don't. Oh, he's an award-winning investigative writer. Fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. And fuck Forbes.com also for publishing this drivel. Oh, I'm so... Okay. Guzfraba. Guzfraba. Why didn't they test 1,000 people who smoke cannabis casually? Once a month users. Once a year users. They took 121 consistent people. If you have a preference in concentrates versus flower, you shouldn't be eligible for this study. You have a tolerance. Your level of impairment and cognitive capacity is not going to be measured fairly as far as potency. Of course, I'm preaching to the choir on this. You all know this. You're all potheads. Nobody watches this show and isn't a smoker, I'm sure. But what the fuck? What the butt fucking Christmas? Is this even real? Yes, it's real. It's on Forbes. That's, what do you call it? Credentialed. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say, the cannabis industry. Can I rant about the cannabis industry for a minute? Can we break from the news for a minute so that I can rant about the industry that I work in? Just a little bit. The cannabis industry is in many ways really fucking wonderful. Okay? Offers new opportunities. In many states, it's being a cornerstone of development in low-income neighborhoods. You know, like in Illinois, they're, giving out licenses to poor. I'm not supposed to say poor anymore. I don't care. They're poor. Low-income neighborhoods, minority neighborhoods. They're doing things there to help try and bring revenue into those neighborhoods and those places where there isn't a lot of industry. Because everybody loves weed, so why the fuck not? That's great. I'm a super big fan of things like that. I don't care. Call it affirmative action and be mad at it. I don't give a fuck. I don't. I don't care. I think it's great. I think it's great. And the reason I think it's great is because over time, there's more than enough room in this market for everybody. You literally can't have too many weed stores. They'll all do just fine. Because weed's about proximity. Especially once it's legal, and proximity will be king. And if fucking I got a weed store that's 4 blocks from my house and one that's 2 blocks from my house, I'm probably going to the one that's 2 blocks from my house. So there's more than enough room for everybody to have a weed shop. So if we want to start this industry with something that looks like affirmative action, where it's given, licenses are given to minority and low-income neighborhoods first, that's fine. I don't care. In 10 years, I can still open a shop wherever the fuck I live and have a store working on and be successful. Because everyone loves weed. Not a problem. I'm totally cool with that. What I hate about the cannabis industry right now is that, short of the state of Nevada, most of it is full of misinformation and bad science. And this is a great example of fucking just bad science. It's just bad science, folks. You can't take 121 fucking users and have 60 of them be concentrate users and 60 of them be flower users, and then try and determine THC's potency. These people do not process this chemical the same way as everyone else. They just don't. What they should have done is had the fucking the concentrate smokers smoke some flower at like 30% and smoke some concentrate at 30% and ask them which one is stonier. Or equivalent, not percent. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Take a dab of shatter that is 300 yeah, 300 a gram of shatter that's 300 milligrams THC, and then a gram of flower that's 300 milligrams THC. Basically, make them ingest the same amount of THC between flower and concentrate, and see which one gets stoned. It says they get higher on. Then you can start to talk about the placebo effect in cannabis, and how I can tell somebody at work, yeah, these gummies here are indica. Let's see, do I even know what I did with those gummies? Yeah, I literally don't. Yeah. Yeah, I tell people at work all the time, yeah, these are indica. You know what, though? They're not, because you can't read it very well, but there's no terpenoids. There's no biochemistry in here to make it indica. Fucking zero. Zero. You know what makes it indica? It says so right there on the bag. And that fucking works for people. I got people that come back and tell me, because here's how I know. Because I have people that come in, and today even, I had a lady tell me, I told her, she goes, which gummies should I get? Well, which ones are indica, she says. Which ones are sativa? And I said, miss, I'm not going to lie to you. You know, I make tips, not a commission, so I don't have any inspiration to fucking bullshit you. The truth is, you should get what looks tasty. They're all the same. Huh? She goes, I said, some of them gummies say indica, some of them say sativa. The reality is, on a biochemical level, there's no difference at all. They're all exactly the same. It's just 10 milligrams of THC distilled, meaning taken away from all of the terpenoids, plant matters, chlorophylls, anything in the plant that could have made it indica or sativa. THC has been removed from it and put directly into that gummy by itself, isolated. And she said, well, I don't know. Last time I got the gummies here that were indica, and they totally knocked me out. Is that point that I smiled and said, well, I have grape. That's all I got. I got grape is the only one that says indica. And I feel bad because you can see the look on her face because she's not a grape fan. Grape is not her favorite flavor. She would have loved the pink lemonades. They're delicious. And had she not had it ingrained in her mind through the placebo effect that those gummies weren't indica, but that these ones were, then you know, she might have gotten a flavor she likes. Now myself, I gotta eat fucking 3 to like 10 of these at once to catch a little high. I'm not even gonna eat all 3 of these. I'm just gonna eat one because I'm gonna go to bed here not too long from now, and I just want to see if they're tasty. I haven't tried the grapes yet. No. Ah, god damn, that's terrible. Yeah. They taste great. I just fucking hate gelatin gummies. My disdain is no fault to the product. They're actually well flavored. It tastes like grape, not grape Tylenol or soda, but it actually kind of like grapes. The flavor is actually really good. I just fucking hate gelatin gummies. The consistency is terrible, in my opinion. See, that's one of those opinions that might have gotten me in trouble before. But, you know, now I can be straightforward on it. I can be like, look, they're tasty, but if you don't like the gummy kind of gelatin, gooey, weird gelatinous blob in your mouth melting kind of feel, which I don't, you're not going to love them. That's a fact. Now, what I feel like everybody loves is concentrates. And this is how I know they're wrong in that article. It's because what dictates how high you get is three major things. The first and most importantly, obviously, is potency, on account of that's your potential, right? If you have weed that is 13%, in order to get the same stone out of that you do out of a 26% weed, you'd have to smoke 2 grams. You'd have to smoke 2 grams of the 13%er in order to ingest, not just ingest, but also absorb and metabolize, but to just ingest the same amount of cannabis, THC, you'd have to smoke 2 grams. So, that is a factor on how high you can potentially be. The other factor, of course, is metabolism. How fast do you convert that THC into a usable, metabolized byproduct that's, you know, actually coursing through your veins and working its way and its magic on your nervous system and your brain? How fast do you metabolize that? Slower metabolism, right, means it's probably not going to hit as hard, but when it, or rather as fast, but when it does hit, it'll hit real fucking hard. you know. Faster metabolisms, you might hit real fucking hard, but it might not last very long, meaning you need to continually smoke more. Whereas maybe somebody with a slower metabolism only has to smoke one joint every 4 hours, right? So metabolism plays a role. And then obviously the last and frankly most important on a personal and individual level is blood saturation. Your blood can only absorb and use and metabolize so much at once. Then it starts storing it in your fat cells or pushing it through your urinary tract and you just start pissing it out, right? But you only actually can absorb so much, you know, per liter or whatever of fucking blood. I don't think it's by the, or milliliter, excuse me, per milliliter, right? So when you do this study, I keep pointing over here because it's over here. But when you do this study and you take 121 fucking potheads who have already really high blood saturation of cannabis, it's already fucking really high. It was really high when they came in, right? And most of the time when they're testing their blood, unless they're up to a transfusion machine, they're really just testing metabolites. So it's not actually, anyway, the point is, so it's not testing the actual amount of THC in their blood, but how much they're actually using, and that really is only measuring their metabolism. But anyway, the point I'm making is, when you take a bunch of people who are already fucking potheads and have developed both physiological tolerance, right? The newness of being high that makes your motor skills feel kind of weird is gone for these people, right? They don't have that. That's not a thing for them anymore. They fucking can drive, go water skiing, skateboard, whatever the fuck they want to do when they're high. Trust me. You know, so they're, and then of course to measure highness, they're measuring the impairment of their cognitive capacity and their motor skills, which is not a definition of high. High is A, subjective, and B, interpersonal, you know? And also dictated by biochemistry. High doses of myrcene put some people in a coma. Whereas someone like myself, I stopped feeling the sedating effects on myrcene after about 13 milligrams per gram. Once we get into 15, 18, 20, 25, it's just a great anti-inflammatory, but it does not make me feel sleepy anymore. But I got people that come in every week to my shop looking for Polaris's head cheese at 32 milligrams per gram of myrcene because they don't sleep at night without it. And they buy it by the fucking ounce because it works. And I'm telling you this as somebody who came into the concept of there being a difference between indica or sativa. I thought all that was horseshit. Thought it was bullshit. And the reason is because I never knew what I was smoking and I never cared to pay attention to how it made me feel. So like those heavier, sleepier highs, I never associated that necessarily to the weed I was smoking as much as I was just like, damn, I'm fucking tired today. It wasn't until I became educated on the actual elements within the cannabis plant, the different terpenes and terpenoids and the different actual cannabinoids, because it's not just THC and CBD, you got CBGs, CBNs, you know what I mean? Like there's more to it, right? And once I started learning that and paying attention to what was in the weed I was smoking versus how I was actually feeling, I started to quantify for myself that there's something to this biochemistry thing. Weird. Foundation of Pharmacology, what? So when I read these fucking articles about them doing studies on cannabis, and I can determine within fucking the first 5 paragraphs that the study was pretty much bullshit and poorly orchestrated and could not be replicated, you know, it's just frustrating. That's what it is. It's frustrating because this is what's being touted in Forbes as good science for cannabis. And it's like it ignores obvious and important variables, both the subjective element of tolerance and the physiological element of tolerance. You know, because I crush it at wordscapes while I'm stoned, right? And I'm dyslexic. That's weird. I'm doing great on a spelling game in which words are jumbled, so I not only have to figure out what the words are, how many letters are in each word, unscramble the word, but then also spell it right, all while I'm stupid fucking lit. So testing my cognitive impairment as a means of determining the level of potency in the THC is junk science. It's science that comes from a place that clearly doesn't understand drug use, doesn't understand recreational drug use, and clearly does not seem to, I keep pointing over here, clearly doesn't seem to want to understand that. That was a good rant. Fuck this article. Fuck you, Forbes. Next. Science doesn't reveal shit. You're liars. You're fucking liars. Okay. Oh, PlayStation 5. Exclusive games more important than ever, Sony says. That's true. Because more and more the platforms of gaming are becoming the same as PC. And what I mean by that is the level of technology that goes into a gaming machine these days is about the same level of fucking technology that goes into a gaming PC. They're not cheap, very advanced, specialized machines, and they're all pretty great. So when all the systems are pretty great and using basically the same technology rearranged out of China from different companies, like that's what they do, you got to have the software. The software is what's going to kill it. So they're right. If Sony can't get a hold of some fucking sweet exclusives, which I'm personally hoping for Sony to finally get the rights to Metal Gear Solid and Silent Hill from Konami so that they can finally start working with Kojima again and we can get a remake, a remaster of the original Metal Gear Solid, and fucking finally get Silent Eve fucking Kojima. I forget what they were going to call that game, but whatever. Anyway, I digress. Sony's going to kill it, though. They always get the best fucking deals for the end of, for the games. Unrefined rawness of Dave Chappelle's 846 is the source of its greatness. Yeah, it was great. As somebody who personally and actively tries to get some element of reality and truth to come out during this madness of a revolution, I have to admit Dave Chappelle's shit is, as always, moving and powerful. Very much so. It was, you know. He says something in here about how people of color are reacting to what they're seeing, and I've been trying to remind myself when criticizing the current state of affairs, which is, you know, white versus black instead of white and black coming together to fight against the party. Trying to remind myself that even though the reality is not supported by the narrative has been supported by the narrative. You know what I mean? Like, even though, as a person of color, Dave Chappelle is not more likely to be shot by the cops than I am, he has been told that his whole life. And I would wager there was a time in this country where that was 100% true. Like, I can definitely imagine a time in recent history, you know, as far back as like the 40s, 50s, and 60s, where you did have entire racist police squads who were just out like fucking with black people for the sake of it. I definitely think that's possible. And I even think and would agree that it's possible today to have a racist, ignorant piece of shit cop who's feels like it's his job to go out and harass black people. I get that. But I definitely don't believe that that's like a department-wide thing in the United States in 2020. Sorry. Not going to buy that. Because I see the cops killing way too many people of all colors and creeds to support that. The fucking facts don't support that narrative. But I understand that through media, music, you know, media being the news, music, popular culture, movies, all of these different elements, not to mention, the what's actually been witnessed. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I, like people see their, their cousin or their brother getting shot by the cops. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get that that's what they've seen, so that's what they feel. And to me, ultimately, at this point, I'm on board. You know what I'm saying? Like, truly, I'm on board. Black Lives Matter, y'all. Because I don't give a fuck anymore. I don't care about the oppression Olympics. I just want to see the cops stop murdering people in the fucking streets. So if what that means is capitulating to a base lie that's currently being used to orchestrate division, if capitulating to that supersedes that division and breeds unity, then fuck it, let's do it. Let's turn their shit against them. You know what I'm saying? All the people out there who are all on the All Lives Matter business, if all lives matter, put your sign down and start chanting Black Lives Matter for a little while. Because who gives a fuck? Do you want to be right, or do you want the cops to stop killing people? That's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I don't care anymore. I'm not going to argue that cops statistically kill us at the same rate when we're unarmed. I'm gonna quit talking about how the fact that the reason they kill 10% more often black people than is reflected by the actual overall total of black people in the country has something to do directly with the intercultural problem in inner city America that also is reflective of the violent crime rate in this country being unfortunately at the hands of black men 18 to 35 against black men 18 to 35, because gang violence in the inner city black community is a serious fucking problem. And no one wants to talk about that. And you know what? I'm not going to talk about it anymore. Well, I will in the future. But for now, we're going to focus on Black Lives Mattering and stopping the police from being an armed, uniformed gang of violent criminals running the fucking streets of America. Because we don't actively let the Bloods do that, right? Like when the Bloods are out gangbanging, we call the cops, and they cops come and remove the gangbangers. So what do you do when the people you call to remove the gangbangers become the gangbangers? So I'm not out here about statistics anymore, or the reality of the world, because none of that fucking even matters. What matters is just stopping the murderous police. Now, all of that aside, Dave Chappelle's shit, it was not funny, but it was raw and it was real and it was brilliant and it was powerful and emotional, and it did give me new perspective and a reminder that necessarily when you're talking about group mentality and group think, reality is rarely as important as perception. The perception is what matters more. So I'm glad Dave Chappelle put out what he put out, and I'm glad that it's been getting solid reviews, and that it's been crushing it online and getting positive rapport. Because again, what we need is to have the cops not killing people in the streets anymore. Okay, before I get off my soapbox, I also just want to throw it out there. You should Google it. There's a white dude the same week as George Floyd who got killed the exact same way, but he had a knee on his neck for 11 minutes. Score for the white people. Oppression Olympics. I'm just kidding. Black Lives Matter. On that very controversial note, though, so do Blue Lives. Y'all need to stop just shooting random cops. I mean, if you got a problem with a guy for being a murderer and he didn't get justice, I get it. It's not right, but at least that I can understand. Just shooting random cops? Putting bleach in cops' milkshakes? The fuck? Jon Stewart on why police reform alone won't solve 400 years of racial inequality. Jesus H. Christ. Jon Stewart. Okay. This This right here is the problem. We can't solve 400 years of racial inequality. A phrasing that I hate because it ignores the last 60 years that have really fought hard to bring about racial equality, and in many ways has succeeded. That's, again, not to say there's no such thing as racists, but we cannot deny the fact that we have come a long fucking way since the 40s and 50s even. We can't solve racial inequality. I mean, should the Jews in Israel be allowed to go to Egypt and take the pyramids because technically they built them? No. It's fucking stupid and ludicrous. That's history. It's over. There's not a Jew today that helped build the fucking pyramids. How quickly everyone seems to forget. Like when it's talking about like the original slave trade, we're talking about dark-skinned white Jews. We just are. We can't solve that. There's no solving that. All we can do is go forward into the future and each individually, on our own personal level, not be racist dickheads. That's it. That's all we can do. And when you see racist dickheads out there and about in the world, call them out. Say, hey, Bill, dropping the N-bomb like that makes you a real piece of shit. You're not invited to Thanksgiving dinner. You know what I'm saying? It's simple. It's simple. You know how many fucking racist pieces of shit in my day that I have just stopped fucking hanging around because I heard them say some racist piece of shit? I don't know, like probably 7. I mean, I don't know. There's really not a lot, but enough that, you know, the moment I hear the N-word come out of your mouth in any other way than in a term of endearment, you're out of my fucking friend circle. You know what I mean? We ain't homies anymore. I don't hang out with people who blame the Jews for shit either. You know what I mean? Because I think fucking racism is stupid. I think to be a racist in 2020 is to be willfully stupid. It's to say out loud, you know what? I have very low IQ. Yep, I do. Well, why is that? Oh, well, because I'm racist. Yeah, I'm racist. And they are always proud of it, too. Like, the real racists will always tell you, like, yeah, I'm fucking racist and I'm proud of it. And, yeah. You're also a moron. Find a bus. Cozy up in front of it. Preferably while it's moving. It's just me talking here. Cop bragged about macing an NYC protester, footage shows. Jesus, we're not going to watch the footage. I'm sorry, folks. That's just not my bag. I don't like to sit and watch the fucking world burn. Twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to see this guy bragging about it. This is why it's such a hard place for me to be. Because, on one hand, I think cops like this are pieces of shit. They are the gang members that have taken over the place of the gang members. And I got no use for them. And again, this is why I say, if you're on the All Lives Matter team, let's get on the Black Lives Matter team. Let's team up with these people who are angry, because we're angry too, and we all have a right to be angry. You know? Pelosi rejects Trump's executive order on police reform one day after calling a chokehold a lynching. rejects it. What the fuck does that even mean? How do you do that? You'd be like, I don't agree with it, I guess. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is the fucking problem with the left, folks, okay? You bitch and you moan because the president doesn't do anything to stop police violence and racial inequality. And then he literally writes out a fucking executive order calling for better training,
by the way,
and an end to police racial injustice. And the fucking left gets on there and says, not good enough. God damn. Aren't you people like senators and governors and shit? Don't you have your own general locations to like work this shit out at? The president's not in charge of your local police. The president is not the one that made fucking the Minneapolis Police Department choke people to death by stepping on their necks. That's not the president's job. That's the fucking Minneapolis Police Department's job. I'm just saying. This is not one for the president to solve. This is something for us to solve. We, the fucking people, solve this one. Pelosi renews gun control push on anniversary of Pulse nightclub shooting. Once again, cops killing 1,200 a year. Mass shooters killed 1,220 years. I think we know which problem we need to start working out first. Man allegedly linked to Boogaloo movement, accused of going to BLM protest with a homemade machine gun to kill cops. Jesus Christ. What in the fucking actual fuck is a Boogaloo movement? I feel like that's a 4chan joke, isn't it? Gun-toting members.
we do it.
Fuck off. You're not welcome here, you cunts. You cunts in your advertisement. Fuck you, CNN. I hate you. Benjamin Ryan Teeter was at his home in Hampstead, New York, when a call to action came. It was alert, raging protest in Minneapolis. Post online forum, fellow member of the Boogaloo movement, loosely knit group of armed anti-government extremists. Do they have like a website or something? It's not often an old joke evolves into a catchphrase for mass violence, but just what happened this year. A variety of extremist fringe movements of culture adopt the word Boogaloo as shorthand for civil war. Boogaloo has its roots in a decade of jokes about an old movie in 1984 breakdancing film, Break Into Electric Boogaloo. Almost from the moment the movie's release, people exploited the format of the movie's title for humorous purposes, praising Bacon with that film person their choice. Civil War II, Electric Boogaloo. Okay, references made so often by gamers and History Buffs, among others. What the fuck? Actually, why do they never have sources for this stuff? This is what bothers me with these kinds of fucking articles. Because near as I can tell, they're just making shit up. Right? Like, this might all be true, but there's absolutely zero sources for me to verify any of this information. And often with these kinds of things, in particular things that are based on jokes, we come to learn later that it's a 4chan joke that the media has yet again fallen for. Sources, please. Sources, please. Sources, 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 please. With hashtag Boogaloo warning about 100 million active shooter situations. When cops try to do a nationwide gun confiscation. Huh. So essentially people on Twitter started calling it that, maybe. I don't know. Hashtag Boogaloo 2020. Okay, let's see what's going on Twitter. Cancel. If the Boogaloo is not a race war, then how come every participating in it is a white man? How's your Boogaloo, dipshits? See, again, huh. Exit is not. Yeah, see, got guys like this. Far right, white extremists cannot be farther from the truth. Boogaloo is a libertarian nature. It's against big government, everyone of all color. Who is part of the Boogaloo movement? What the fuck? Why are we in a place where any of this is real? How can any of this be real? There are no Antifa group, but those arrested are linked to Boogaloo Boys, Proud Boys for your right-wing base followers. Okay, that's not true, but cool. It is made up of nothing but hateful white supremacists. See, the majority of what I'm reading fascist, euthanasia. Good news, he was shot by a Boogaloo boy. This way, bar car militias are predicted. Again, sources, please. The majority of the hashtags I see are other people, like, talking about it, making fun of it, or talking shit about it. Yeah, the world is just fucked, folks. It really is. It's just fucked. It's just, I'm going to the woods. That's really what this all comes down to. That's the full circle to it. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm going to the sticks. I'm gonna mine some gold. Not a lot, you know what I mean? Because I don't have any real equipment. I'm just gonna fucking basically pick up what I can off the bedrock at the bottom of the river. But I'm gonna find some gold, and then I'm gonna, you know, stash it somewhere. Maybe do a treasure hunt. That'd be fun, right? Treasure hunt. I'm going gold mining. We can have us a treasure hunt. Anyway, allegedly linked to Boogaloo movement. Basically, they don't know. This motherfucker's just putting out bullshit once again. Thanks, CNN. PG&E takes responsibility for California fire. Unfucking believable. PG&E pleads guilty. That's taking responsibility. Our equipment started that fire. God damn. Whole company's going to prison for manslaughter. Probably not. What is the deadly India-China border dispute about? China's been trying to annex India fucking since its inception, basically, and they've constantly been at a stalemate. Pretty sure it did actually annex a good chunk of India for a while. Yeah, it's not super great. North Korea's starting fucking war with South Korea. Looks like that's wonderful. That's going to pit the United States and Russia right at each other's throats. And China. I'm so going to the woods, folks. I'm telling you right now. I know where there's a nice little freshwater spring. Yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of Dodge. Beijing back in lockdown as city faces new surge of coronavirus outbreak. We all saw that coming. It's coming here too. Fuck. Scientists hailed dexamethasone as a major breakthrough in treating coronavirus. Wonderful. I mean, that's legit. I'm not being a sarcastic dick. That's legitimately wonderful. Glad they're finding something that's helpful with this terrible fucking disease, illness, virus, whatever. Because I'll be honest with you guys, when this all first came out, I was like, it's just a fucking overblown flu and they're exploiting it. And I still maintain that as a possibility. But the more I read about it, and the more I see like people who are like tweeting about it, like saying they have it or had it and shit, it sounds pretty fucking terrible, honestly. Doesn't sound fun at all. Every time I get so much as a tickle in my throat, I'm fucking stressing that I got it. Nevada sees a huge spike in the COVID cases. Terrifying. Councilwoman steps down as mayor pro tem. This lady went on fucking Twitter and was like, I think we should open this bitch back up. I'm tired of seeing people out of work and broke, and my stores in my town are all shut down, and everything's fucking shit. And, yeah, you know, like, now she got blasted on Twitter, and everybody's like, that dumb bitch. And she's fucking stepping down. This is the world we live in now. Where, you know, if you go against the horde, they fucking shout you down, and you're done. Despite the fact that she didn't actually open up shops or businesses or break the social... Anyway. Now, I don't know if she was a good mayor or not. I have no idea. Don't know at all. Didn't pay attention to her before all of this came up and was a news thing. So, I mean, maybe, you know, North Vegas is better off. I have no idea. But I think it's terrifying that people can go on Twitter and basically yell at you until you quit your job. Pool parties trying to return to Vegas with reservations, no DJs, and social distancing. Fuck, that sounds like my jam. Hard Rock removes memorabilia from the hotel but vows return. Yeah, because people are still rioting and they don't want their shit getting fucking destroyed. I get it. AT&T cuts thousands of jobs, closes 250 stores despite most likely getting a fat fucking payout from the government. This is the looting that's really happening in America right now. These companies taking huge bank bailouts from these motherfucking, from the government, and then not restoring jobs, not hiring people back, but in fact cutting even more, shutting down stores. Fucking terrible, dude. Fed Chair Powell testifies. What to know in markets Wednesday. I don't know anything about the Fed Chair. They're all manipulating it and stealing all of our wealth and getting ready to take people's houses again, and it's just fucked. Apple rejects Hey.com App Store updates mandating in-app subscription. I don't fucking know anything about that. Don't care either, because I don't care about Apple. If y'all care, let me know in the fucking comments or whatever, and I'll care later if you care. Facebook, Google, and Amazon CEO willing to testify in antitrust probe. Wow, that's amazing. They all got together and coordinated. Good for them. See, what's funny is they're all literally shell corporations of the United States fucking intelligence apparatus. So, what do they care? What do they care? Follow the money. Amazon's got a deal with the CIA. Google was founded by front companies and corporations that have ties to the CIA's M fund, and Facebook also. And all three of these companies work with the NSA to provide them with personal data for you and me. What the fuck do they care about testifying to Congress? What do they give a shit? When the cameras aren't rolling and the fucking stenographer is out to take a piss, they just look right at the panel and go, you know, we can end all of you right now. And they go, yes, sirs, but we have to put on the show. Jesus Christ. Ford Mustang. Oh, they're calling it the Mach 1. Jesus Christ. I thought they were saying that it goes Mach 1. I'm like, Jesus. Google Meet lands in Gmail on smartphones to beat Zoom. Oh, Google Meet lands in Gmail. Okay. That's not a good phrasing. Google Meet arrives, or Google's Meet in Gmail. Anyway, they could have worded that better. I'm just saying, I'm not just stoned. That's a fucking mouthful. Oh. Scary. They're getting ready to do holograms. Samsung just patented a new smartphone, and he's ready to get it right now. Proposed with a much improved camera setup. What the fuck? Look at all this garbage. This site is literally 3/4 advertisement. Holy Grail Smart Design. Holy fuck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cameras, motherfucker. Tiltable image sensor. Wow. I am telling you, folks. Camera technology has just gotten outrageous over the years. Oh, interesting. They're putting 5G on budget phones so they can shut down all the 4G networks and make sure all the peasants and peons can be tracked. Siesta Keys Alex how the fuck do you even say this guy's name? He has some racist social media stuff. Probably shit like I said, like white people get killed by police more often than black people. Racist? I am so racist. I am the most. Lance Bass, he's still a thing. Predicts former pal Jax Taylor will be fired by Bravo. Ooh, Andy's psychic. Good for him. Trevor Noah explains why Rayshard Brooks shouldn't have died at the hands of police. God, that one's tough, because like I can see how they're going to call it justified and get away with that, because he was hella violent with the police and was pointing his taser at him and shit. God, cops have got to fucking have a better way to detain crazy violent criminals without killing them. Maybe a big net like in the cartoons that just fucking tangles them up. You know, it's on like a motor and tightens. I mean, maybe break a few bones and necks along the way and learn how to use it, but fuck, man. Just busting off some rounds at a brother. Not fucking cool, man. Chubba Hubbard, Mike Gundy, and the power of college football players. I don't know anything about sports. Science is dope, though. There could be 6 billion Earth-like planets in our galaxy. Yeah, and there could be turtles that fucking shit gold, dude. Like, there could be a lot of shit. Oh, they are so getting ready to do disclosure. Jesus Christ. They really are, aren't they? Oh, I can't watch a YouTube video on YouTube without getting
I'm currently here in Badass Refugee.
Sorry. Sorry, folks. They'll flag us. They'll flag us. But 36 alien civilizations sounds like some David Icke shit. Turns out this is Euronews. See Earth and Venus from photos in NASA's Curiosity rover. Here's a cloudy ass night sky, and here's a couple of specks. That's Earth. That's Venus. That's a flake of dust. That's a fucking light reflection. Like, and we eat it up. We just eat it the fuck up. Now, I mean, I'm not telling you guys that this is necessarily fake or that I don't believe that we're on Mars. I'm just saying I'm smart enough to realize this could be New Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely could be New Mexico. And this could just literally be a gradient with a piece of rock in the fucking side with a couple of light splotches put out here. We have no way to verify this shit. And this is my illustration that we are definitely ones to take and have faith in science. The faith of religion is only changed alters. You know, they're looking for dark matter. Dope. I don't know why, it just reminds me of Darkwing Duck and Dark Web and things that are dark or tight. If I can quote the guy from that other thing, you'll know what I'm talking about. Astronauts look ahead to historic ocean landing. We're not nervous. That should be your first sign. You know, like, you never heard somebody at the Apollo launches go, "Yeah, it's all good, Tom Hanks. We're not nervous. You guys have a kick-ass flight. We'll see you in a couple days." They were prepared the whole time for that shit to go catastrophically wrong. Like 70% of their procedures were designed for it going catastrophically wrong. The rest, 30%, were for, like, things going smooth. Saying we're not nervous. You're idiots, then. But it's cool that the International Space Station's getting a toilet upgrade. I hope it's gold. Goddamn, coronavirus deaths in U.S. could reach 200,000 by October. Coronavirus deaths in U.S. could also not reach 200,000 by October. I mean, that's plausible, too. I mean, who knows? You know what I mean? I just could have swore I read, like, 3 days ago that this was not a thing. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I could have swore that I had read that they said there was nothing to worry about that. Interesting. I could be wrong, or there could be memory hold, but I mean, I've been wrong before. I'm not afraid to admit when I am. But I swore like last week, maybe. Huh. Oh, maybe I did not read that somewhere. I could have swore that I had. Oh my gosh, we're gonna call this the fucking crisis and treat it like fucking. We're gonna treat this shit like 9/11. Whole world is gonna be fucking different from now on. These motherfuckers keep fucking with life. Well, fucking A. Toilet pluming, spreading the Rona. Fucking A. That Boogaloo shit's goddamn funny if you ask me. A bunch of dumb shits holding rifles thinking they're gonna save the world. Well, the AIDS vaccines, there's definitely AIDS vaccines. Whether or not they work, you know, nothing on the market. But like, Fauci was really involved in the early development of AIDS vaccines and AIDS testing, things like that. If you do some research on good old Dr. Fauci and his involvement in the 80s studying AIDS. Anyway, Trump's a fool, but he is your Emmanuel Goldstein. You know, he's the guy you're supposed to hate. He's this guy. Let's see here, actually. Let's look that up. Which one of these was actually kind of free? Oh, no. I need archive.com. Oh, archive.org. My bad. Let's see here. Is this the classic film? It looks like it is. Roar! Hold on, that part's probably going to be flagged, that roar. Metro Goldwyn.
Quien controla el pasado, controla el futuro.
Oh, it's
Quien
in
controla el
Spanish.
presente, controla el pasado.
I love that.
Esta es nuestra tierra. Una tierra de paz y abundancia.
Oh, it's hella in Spanish.
Una tierra de armonía y esperanza. Esta es nuestra tierra.
I like it. There's already a thing here called COVID
Je vous
1980.
demande de rester chez vous.
Am I in the fucking French world here? Oh yeah.
Je vous demande aussi de garder le calme.
Vidans Lapia. I don't know what the fuck that means. Okay, we gotta find some way to narrow this down just a little bit. Like maybe by language? Is that a thing we can do? Maybe by length? Shit, I'm getting tired, folks. Let's see if this one's in English or not. Rawr. Rawr. You're welcome. Shit. So exactly what I had in mind, right? Like I was going to try and do this. Save the link. That's what I was trying to do right there. We put that right there in the smoke thing down assets, because this I'm going to cut the fuck up out of and use like a motherfucking madman. You know what I'm saying? Like suddenly I switched into my like soft British voice, but like sometimes I can do it straight into Scottish though, you know what I mean? Can't get wrong with a Scotsman, can you? I didn't think so. Anyway, I think it's officially time to go to bed. I'll leave you this. Roar, roar, roar. Roar, roar. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. Bring that volume way down. Talking ink sock, bitch. That's the party.
They are the Dark Armies.
Fucking dark
The
armies.
dark, murdering armies of Eurasia. In the barren deserts of Africa and India, on the oceans of Australasia, courage, strength, and youth are sacrificed. Sacrificed to barbarians whose only honor is atrocity. But even as we grasp at victory, there is a cancer, an evil tumor, growing, spreading in our midst.
This is true.
Shout! Shout! Shout out his name.
Trump. 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 Do you hear it? Can you hear that? Trump. 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 Trumpity Trump. 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 Fucking Trump. You see my point? This is what the left looks like right now to me, and what the right looked like when Obama was in the presidency. No union. No union at all. That bitch threw her shoe. She'll be walking with a limp the rest of the day. You know what I'm saying? Winston Smith looking all fucking Winston Smithy and shit. You know? Where's the... Alright, I had enough of that. That was a good point I was making, but where's the shit that I'm looking for? Like, can I cut this up and use this on YouTube, or will I get fucked in the face with a stick? No one likes that saying. I don't care. That's right. Remember Attack of the Show? Ah, the old days. X-Play. Man, X-Play and GameSpot TV. Fuck, GameSpot was a long time ago. This video is just titled Operating Systems. I like it. Jesus Christ.
This is Herb Lechner, sort of sitting in for Gary Kildall. Standard operating environment to enable applications to run on different machines and on different configurations.
Boy, that doesn't look fucking interesting at all. Ah, Leo Laporte and the Screensavers. Dope. They're still making shit, though. They got their own deal on Revision 3. It's pretty dope. Well. Yeah, we're getting ready to crash. I think I'm out, guys. I appreciate those of you tuning in. Those catching us later down the road, whether it's tomorrow or next year, or 10 years from now, or studying after I put out, I don't know, whatever I put out that makes me famous and shit, and you gotta be like going back over every little thing I did and be like, what'd he do? Have a good day, in any case. Damn, this is boring as fuck.